What's going on, everybody? It's track announcer Chris Griffin joining you here for Out of the Gate. Don't forget you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and get involved in the conversation right here at Parks. We're ready to kick things off on this Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday afternoon. First post times of 12:10, but we got some great stuff coming up for you here on Out of the Gate before we get into some of our live handicapping, paddock previews, and all of our great live racing action here on this Monday afternoon. The main track is fast. We'll talk about scratches and changes later on. But let's start talking about what we got going on today. So I've been really talking to the team here at Parks at getting the bettors involved, the handicappers, you guys across the country, and what better way to do that than have you send in some videos. So I've got 3 professional handicappers that got involved in the conversation, made a few phone calls, a few text messages, and had my friends send me some pics. So we're going to go through a couple races here that I'm going to handicap for you. But to kick things off, we're going to take a look at race number 1. Now, Tom and Tom Racing, they've had some streams. They've done some stuff on social media where they've gotten involved in the Philly Big 5 and handicapping the entire card here at Parks. So no better way than to start off with Tom and Tom Racing, and he gives us a selection as we get into race number 1, a maiden special weight going around 2 turns. So this is our first video from a handicapper, Tom and Tom. Let's take a look at who he likes in the opener.
We're going a mile and 70 yards on the Bethlehem Dirt. I really like this 5, Dracon with Kenrick in the irons. Coming first off the claim with Linda Rice. Former Brad Cox horse is running with a little bit lesser class than it's been running in the Nairo circuit. I think it's going to take it home in race 1. Thank you.
Shout out again to Tom and Tom there. He likes the number 5 in race number 1. It's not going to be Kendra Carmouche. Got a rider change there in the first with Jorge Vargas Jr., who will take over on the number 5 for Linda Rice. That's his top selection in today's opener. Let's talk about race number 2 and get into my selections here for today's second. For me, take a look at this race. It's a really competitive field in here, but I'm going to go 4-8-1, and Ambitiously Placed ends up being the top pick. This is Jamie Ness. This is a horse going around 2 turns. The horse had won its last start. So when you're taking a look at that last effort, Ruben Silvera back aboard going a mile. This horse did it so easily on the front end. Now, I will say, might have to have a different trip this afternoon. Is this horse going to stalk? Is this horse going to be alone on the lead? There is some other speed in this lineup, so Ambitiously Placed, if this horse can win right back. Common theme throughout this meet here, Jamie Ness, Ruben Silvera, top barn, top rider. We'll see if they can connect here and if you get a touch of value in race number 2. But that is a pretty competitive field in today's second race, so we'll see what happens. I'm going to go 4 on top of the 8 and the 1 in today's second. We're going to take a quick commercial, come back with more coverage here, but let's talk about the new Parks Racing mobile app right here at Parks.
Coming soon, an enhanced Parks Racing mobile app. The improved Parks mobile app will feature biometric login through fingerprint or face ID. View wagering information before building your wager. Customizable viewing options. Hands betting and transaction history. Helpful tips. And much more. The enhanced Parks mobile app, now available.
Some great feedback, some reviews on that new Parks Racing mobile app, and a lot of people have gotten involved and said how easy it is to kind of navigate through it, how user-friendly it is. So get involved, check that out, the new Parks Racing mobile app right here from Parks Racing. Hey, we get into race number 5, skip a couple of races. I'll have paddock previews coming up later this afternoon, but race number 5, maiden $25,000 race in here, going to go the sprint distance. I'm going to go towards the outside runners in here. I felt like Outworkable, you get the 9, you get the 8, you get the 10. So I'm going to the 3 outside posts in here, but Outworkable. Common theme again, Jamie Ness. This horse has shown speed in the first 2 starts. On debut and in that second lifetime start, just faded in the late stages of it. Now, I am a little concerned with the runners right next door on either side of Outworkable. I would not take too short of a price here on the number 9. The number 8 in here, and that's She Loves Gold, Edwin Rivera for Scott Lake. You can excuse that last effort. I feel like this horse is going to improve off of that. Needed that one, yes, did not really show up that afternoon, but you give this horse some time. Now second off the layoff, this one's got a big opportunity here in today's 5th race. So I'm going to go 9, 8, 10. Let's go towards those outside runners in this spot. Outworkable gets the slight edge in here. We're just going to have to see what the price ends up being. Speaking of prices, race number 6. I think It's Me, Gino B. My man Gino Buccola out on the West Coast. He does podcasts. He does all kinds of coverage there. So he got involved in the conversation. He likes the horse quite a bit here in race number 6. He did a preview, and it's a nice maiden race in here, and he likes a bit of a class dropper. So let's see what Gino Buccola, It's Me, Gino B, had to say for today's 6th race start of the Philly Big 5.
The number 6, Nikki DeFox, in the 6th race on Monday is not in for a tag, which you can see it's a maiden $20,000 claiming race, but because of being a PA bred, is able to go in the waiver claiming condition. I thought that was interesting because as we look into the 6th race for Monday, there is not a lot of speed in this mile 70-yard race. And you have a lot of horses who have been beaten against maiden claimers over and over and over. The 3, Big Daddy Buzz, even the 4, Malibu Anthem, who comes in from New York, has been against maiden claimers repeatedly over and over and over. The 5, He Runs the Line. Go Skippy Go. You go through this field, Factum Love Style, S-Man, same thing for them. Nikki DeFox has faced better company. We need at least 4-1 to make a wager on Nikki DeFox. You don't want to take a short price on him. But in this field, with a lot of horses who have had many chances to get the job done, it feels like the type of field that Nikki can beat because he may be able to get the lead here by default, just kind of by accident. I don't think there's anyone else in here as quick as him, and if 1 or 2 others choose to go, he should be forwardly placed and right there. He wanted to go close to the lead last time out, but 4 others went. He ended up getting floated very wide and had to settle, and he settled 5th and kind of moved to the inside. But after getting floated wide into the turn, he really never had a shot. You go back and look at, 3 starts back at Parks, going 7 furlongs against Pennsylvania bred maiden specials. How about the race on August the 2nd when beaten just 3/4 of a length in a similar spot against open maiden specials, but similarly going a mile, similar trip against better. He has good enough races to compete with this. It's going to be built into the price that the barn is a low percentage barn and doesn't win a whole lot. So Nikki DeFox, we are going to play. If we can get anything around 4-1, we'll make a win wager. I will use Nikki DeFox on top.
My man Gino Buccola there. It's Me, Gino B, with his selection. Nikki DeFox taking a look at that maiden race in there. Might get a touch of value. He likes 4-1 or higher, so keep an eye on that. We'll talk about that later on in today's card. Hey, here on Out of the Gate, we like to bring you these features when we get a chance to catch up with some of the jockeys, the trainers, some of the connections right here at Parks Racing. So we got a chance to catch up with Danny Velazquez. He trained Brooklyn Strong in this year's Kentucky Derby. We were following along on that journey, and I know a lot of fans here in Bensalem, Pennsylvania were rooting those connections on as they got into the field for the Kentucky Derby in 2021. But Danny Velazquez, his entire team, they gave us a chance to catch up with them and talk about his career, talk about his relationship with his dad, and some of his kind of sights on what he's got set on for his future as well. So let's take a look at this feature on Out of the Gate here with trainer Danny Velazquez.
I was a jockey first. My father's been here many years, Alfredo Velazquez, so kind of like a legacy. And I started riding. I rode professionally here for 5 years. I was like second leading rider, believe it or not. And my dad said, hey, I had a lot of problems with my weight. And he said, if you have problems with your weight, there's many other jobs that you could do here. You could work in the office, you could become an agent, you could become a trainer. You don't have to just struggle with the weight. And I'm like, well, I'll try training. I stopped riding, and then I realized, wow, I know nothing about horses. Like, I didn't know. I knew how to ride them. I didn't know what it took to actually physically get a horse to the race, and I respect them way more now. I wish I would have known what I know now when I was a jockey, because I could have took that and multiplied it, because I was just very naive at the time.
Danny spoke about where he goes for advice and who he turns to when he's got questions as a trainer.
I go to Dad, and I'm lucky I have John Service right up the street, and I kind of pick his brain. I pick everybody's brain. I feel like this business you learn every day no matter what, and yeah, I definitely need to learn more and more and more. I'm getting better as I progress, and I figure out, even going to the Derby, I figured, oh wow, this is what it takes to get here. This is what you need to do. It was a good experience for me to go and really figure out the lay of the land and what it actually takes to get there.
Brooklyn Strong took Danny V to the Derby in 2021. We asked him about a memorable story from this year's Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, I had a moment with Todd Pletcher in the paddock, just quick. I tapped him on the shoulder because I was like a nervous wreck, and I said, hey, does this get any easier? And he looked at me and said, Danny, this is the toughest race in the world to win. It doesn't get any easier. And I said, oh, wow, that makes me feel great.
Danny has a passion outside of racing, but in a way, it also goes hand in hand.
Huge MMA fan. I do mixed martial arts. I do Krav Maga. I haven't been training because of my shoulder, because of the injury I had here, but yeah, huge MMA fan. I use a lot of fighting analogy in my interviews, and I don't know if it comes up crazy, but no, I feel like sometimes I train my horses. I know it's for a horse race, but in my head it's for a fight. Like they're going to go out there, they have to fight other horses, they have to dig deep into their soul to really get a win, and I take that into account all the time.
As a young, up-and-coming trainer, Danny's got some advice for those getting into training.
Sure, it's your passion. You really got to love this because it's a roller coaster. It's up and down. It's 7 days a week. There's really no breaks. It's time-consuming. It's grueling. It really takes a toll on your family. It's very you got to sacrifice a lot. So just make sure that it's your passion, that you really love it, because it's the greatest game in the sport. And I always feel like I'm not working. I just feel like, I know I'm like working, but I never feel like it's a job. I just feel like I wake up every day and get to do something I love. It's awesome.
Trainer Danny Velazquez, a name to remember, Brooklyn Strong. He's been back on the work tab, but we've seen him work right here at Park, so we'll see where he ends up next. But thanks again to Danny and letting us join his entire team and follow him around and get some of that footage there. And thanks to the team here on the TV crew to put that together. Danny Velazquez, keep him in mind as we continue on through not only this year, but then into next year in 2022 right here at Parks Racing. We get into some of the later races here on the card, and race number 9 had to enlist another handicapper from the West Coast, Andrew Champagne. A lot of people know him well. He likes the East Coast circuit. I know he's been doing some stuff with Saratoga as well, and so just want to get his insight and his input on what he felt like for today's 9th race. I mean, this is a pretty big field in here, a good sprint for 12-5 non-winners of 4 lifetime, and Andrew has a nice pick, so let's find out right now who his video selection was. It's Andrew Champagne with today's 9th race pick.
Hi everybody, Andrew Champagne here, and I've got a play for the November 22nd program at Parks. We'll head to race number 9. This is a claiming event for older horses going 6.5 furlongs, and my top selection is number 11, Little Harbor, who is 12-1 on the morning line. His races against this type of opposition are very good, and he responded to a drop in class last time out with a good third where he was beaten just a half length. His races before that came against much tougher horses, so I have no problem drawing lines through those efforts. I love the outside draw in this spot, and I think he'll be the controlling speed. Add in the presence of Kendrick Carmouche, which of course never hurts, and I think there's a lot to like. At or near that 12-1 morning line price, I think Little Harbor is a must-use. Horse number 11 in race number 9 for me at Parks on Monday, November 22nd.
Once again, thank you to Andrew Champagne as he got involved here for race number 9. Going to be a rider change on the number 11. Kendrick Carmouche is not riding here this afternoon, so I'll have full scratches and changes coming up for you here once we get into those scratches and changes right here at Parks. I want to take this moment to recognize everybody here on the entire team and the hardworking staff for Out of the Gate, and everybody here at Parks Racing. We want to wish everybody a very happy and safe Thanksgiving as we get into this Thanksgiving week of racing, and then we have Thanksgiving obviously on Thursday, so hopefully you enjoy that with you and your family. And then also on these video selections, you can always reach me on Twitter, on Instagram. Get involved with the conversation because you've seen how the pros do it. Now I want to see how you guys can do it out there. So if you're a fan, a handicapper, a bettor, and you just want to see yourself on TV, or you want to feel like you've got a good handicapping pick, all you got to do is send me a tweet. Let me know that you want to send in a video. We'll talk about how you got to format it and send it over, but just have a pick, have a selection. Give us some good, valuable information, why you like that certain runner. Try to find some value. Don't give out 1 to 9 shots like people say I do all the time, but we want to get you, the bettors and the fans and the handicappers, involved in the conversation right here at Parks. We got a great week of racing ahead. We got some great stakes races coming up in the month of December as well as we get ready to close out 2021. But a big shout out again, thank you to Tom and Tom Racing. Thanks to It's Me, Gino B, and thank you to Andrew Champagne for joining us and giving us their selections this afternoon. Thanks to trainer Danny Velazquez once again, and thank you, the bettors, for joining us here on Out of the Gate. We'll have scratches and changes coming up. Enjoy all this live racing from Parks Racing. It's all coming up, and it's next.